Welcome to Keep It Clean for Happier You. I'm your host, Nicky Tomboulides. Thank you for joining the conversation on how you and I can make a positive impact on our environment at home and as citizens. Yes, we can. Here is how. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Nicky. Welcome. Today, we dedicate the show to you to answer your questions. Use the contact form at dirtdirtgoaway.com with your questions, comments, ideas for a future show. We read all your mail, all your comments, and all our mail. I'm here with my producer, Milford Edwards, at the studio for our very first segment titled Ask Nicky. So you can ask me anything.
Nicky, welcome once again. Good to have you here. Nicky, I'd like to ask you before we get to the questions from our listeners about the show Keep It Clean. Why keep it clean? And what is the goal? Who is your audience? And above all, how did you get in the business of keeping it clean?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. I've been in the business of clean for over 100 years, it feels like. Because I'm in the business. This is my business of, I have a residential and commercial business. I've been in the business for many, many years, over 25 years in business of keeping it clean. When I was in college, actually, I was cleaning homes for extra money. It's way over 30 years that I've been walking around with a mop. The reason I decided to start the podcast of Keep It Clean is the questions over the years I'm getting from everyone. And before I started the business, I kind of was very organized and very neat, but I kind of thought that I knew all about cleaning, but little did I know, even today, I'm still learning after all these years in the business. And for all the people that they were my students or my crew that I taught, maybe I can safely say 2 people really knew what they were doing, and I taught over 100 people. It's a challenging business, and a lot of people hate it. Most people hate it, I should say. And if you have a strategy and if you follow certain guidelines, you'll be fine. But I felt it necessary, and somehow this show took a turn, this podcast, Keep It Clean for Happier You, because we got a lot of demand for organizing, for the environment, and we're going with that flow, and I'm very pleased to say we're getting good response. We're heading towards the environment. We will emphasize, I will have a show about cleaning too.
Yes, well, it's very comprehensive, Nicky, in terms of the broad expanse of what cleaning is. There's no limitations to that because every aspect of what we do is keeping clean, including the air that we breathe. So Absolutely. When you think about it, I think it's a wonderful concept in that regard.
We all have to clean.
Yes, indeed.
Now, questions from our listeners, from you guys, of Keeping It Clean for Happier You. Using our contact form, please go ahead at dirtdirtgoaway.com to use the contact form and ask us any question you have, any challenges you have from the whole home front. We selected a few questions that we'd like to address today.
Okay, so here we go. Mary is coming in and she writes, been listening to your podcast. That's wonderful. If you have lots of talk about everything but clean, I'd like to know when you'll get to the clean because I have questions. One about my shower. We have a beautiful new shower, less than a year old, with glass enclosure, but our tiles get moldy, even though they get cleaned every week. I'd like to know why. What can I do? Did we make a mistake with the glass? Nowadays, everyone does glass wraparound.
That's an excellent question. Thank you, Mary, for writing to us. It's ironic because the other day I had a similar situation with a friend of mine who had a mold situation, and they regrouted the shower. And interestingly, when they regrouted it, the guy sealed it after he grouted the lower tiles without over the mold. So once you seal it, then it's very difficult to clean. So she had to redo the whole project. And but let me get to answering directly to your question about what I personally think you did the right decision, because glass enclosures for the shower makes it's a very open concept, and your shower looks larger and less claustrophobic, if you like, than if it's enclosed and there's only one opening. But there are issues with shower doors indeed, like to avoid streaking, you need to dry the glass all the time. And also to avoid mold, because mold loves moisture, is you need to keep the door always open. And usually people like to keep the door always closed because it looks nicer this way. But the door needs to be going out and in. So if you pull it inside, it's going to be out of the way, but it needs to be open at all times. And also you need to turn the fan on. Now, concerning the mold, to avoid, once, if you have to redo it, the grout or the tiles, for hard water, the minerals for hard water, there's a buildup of soap in the glass. Constant once a week cleaning is fine, but for hard water especially, it has the soap scum and mineral hard water is lined up around the glass. My recommendation is keep the door open always on the glass shower entrance, and turn the fan on for a minimum of an hour. Nowadays they have fans for the shower that don't make any noise and they're on a timer. You can put it at the max timer and you can get out and it will shut automatically. Good luck with everything, Mary. Write to us back if you're listening to this now, and hope that no more mold for you. Remember, moist environments create the mold.
Okay, and that's good advice too, Nicky. Thank you very much for responding to that question from Mary in terms of her shower. And that is something I think that a lot of people have that common problem with.
Yes, they do.
Not
only a glass shower, but also even
with
the
tiles,
regular shower. Yes.
And with tiles and so on, yes.
Yes.
And with those, it's more difficult to see the moisture with the tiles, but it is there. So just to be aware that this happens because we're talking about heat and cold and all these things that are happening at the same time. Very, very good point,
exactly.
Nicky. Very good point. Now we have Jack and Judy, and they write, love the show particularly. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the parts about the environment. He says, my wife and I like in our home and now office to reach zero trash. Okay, that's a lofty goal, reaching zero trash. Okay, let's see how we do that. It says, paper for us is big. We both work from home now after COVID. We shred a lot of paper and put it all in the recycling bin with other paper. We also like to compost, but don't have the time to do gardening. Don't like the bad smell of the compost bin. There's a private company here in our town that picks up composting once a week. We use them, but prefer more often pickup. Thank you for your time. Nicky, what do you say about that?
Okay, well, this has a twofold question. Let me say this, and the reason I know it, because we had people from the government on recycling and composting on the previous shows, and how to save money and reduce waste, and refer to that also. But paper and shredding paper is not the same thing, and that's the reason I know, because of them. You cannot put shredded paper in the recycling bin and mix it with the paper. What you can do is, when you have the monthly or for your city or town that they collect special collections for whether it is special trash or shredding, it's collected separately. You need to call your town, city hall or your town, and find out about that. That's separate, and I would not mix it together. And my understanding is, from the way you're saying about the office, because of paper, if it's work paper, that's fine, but the paper needs to be clean and not laced with food or anything like that, because then that's not recyclable. That's the part about the paper. Shredded paper is a no-no. You cannot recycle it with regular paper. Now, addressing your compost, you don't have necessarily to do the gardening for when you're composting, and it appears that you're actually hired a private company to do it and you want a more often pickup. Well, you can ask them. But concerning what you can and cannot recycle, we're in Connecticut. check your local government listings of recycling. If you go Google it, and you can find all the information. But for Connecticut, we have government agencies, but also we have recycleconnecticut.com, and they have a wizard. It allows you to search what's in and what's out. The guests we had from the government, Cheryl Baldwin and Rachel Schnabel from Manchester, and Cheryl Baldwin from the state, they informed us that it's really a great way from the wizard to search what's in and what's out. And actually, Cheryl was the one that created and started the what's in and what's out. This way, you don't need us. You can just go and check for Connecticut. We have recycledconnecticut.com, and you can check that way. I just wanted to emphasize from earth.org the top environmental issues is facing us in 2024: air pollution, water shortages, water pollution, wildfires, food waste, and plastic pollution. It's very important that we ask these questions, and I thank everyone for using our contact form at dirtdirtgoaway.com to answer the questions. And is that what we have for now?
Yes.
Keep it clean for happier you. We're here for you. And ask Nikki. We're going to try to see this program once again. Keep the questions and comments coming, and also ideas for future shows. Signing out. Thank you for listening to us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
We came to the end of the show. Keep it clean for happier you. I'm your host, Nicky Tomboulides. Together with my team, we're working on more exciting conversations on how each one of us can make a difference at home and on a global scale. Yes, we can. Bye for now. Opa.
At Keep It Clean for Happier You, we'd love to hear from you. For your comments and questions, use contact form at dirtdirtgoaway.com. We will be here every Saturday. Tune in to Keep It Clean for Happier You podcast. You can live stream online at radio1400.am every Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. and listen anytime at dirtdirtgoaway.com.